Okay, so limited time. Okay, I wanted to share my experience from yesterday that I had such an awesome experience. Now, I had a conversation with someone prior, and we were talking about, battles and, I'm not gonna die here on this hill for something. Like, just causes and stuff like that. And whenever I said that, I said, I can't say that I have actually found something that I'm willing, that I'm gonna die here on this hill for. And it was so funny because I said that comment because I never really get into arguments with people about anything, because I usually just kind of am like, whatever. If they want to argue, then so be it. Let them argue. I'm just going to walk away because I don't feel like being confrontational, because what's the point? I will say how I feel or what I think, but I'm not going to argue with someone about it. Now, keep in mind that it's been something that I haven't had that ability, more or less, because of the fact that I grew up having to be subservient. And so because of my history with my family and everything like that, that I was trained by my father and my mother both to be, a servant, subservient, whatever, all of that. I was trained. So, because of that, it's been something that it's been a work in progress to be able to break free from. So, get this. Yesterday, I was watching something here at work, and we can watch, our phones and stuff like that. We can watch whatever, as long as we're getting work done, it's no problem. But I was watching something on YouTube, and it was about mermaids. And I personally have a belief in, mythical creatures and, magic and all of this stuff. I believe in it, and, if others don't, so be it. I don't care. If you don't believe in it, that's you. I'm not going to sit there and run around and try and convince you that you have to believe in it. I will talk freely about how I feel about it, but I'm not going to try and tell you how you are wrong. I may try and tell you why I believe it to be true, and not more or less try to convince you, but in a way argue my case, more or less. But the whole point of it was the fact that I left a comment. That was it. A comment on my belief with mermaids and their voices and the healing abilities with them and all that. So someone commented on my comment, more or less calling me out about it. And so, of course, I'm going to play along because I already know where this is going. Because if you're already starting to use quotations in your words, in your sentences, I already know that this is going to get debatable. I know that you are trying to impose something upon me. So I'm like, okay, this is a prime opportunity for me to go ahead and practice my debating skills. Let's go with this. Let's see where this goes. And so, it progressed to a point of where this person was pretty much telling me how I was crazy and naive and a bunch of other synonyms for crazy, but more or less naive and oh God, I can't think of them right now, but there were so many different synonyms that he was going towards, and he was definitely more or less playing it safe by trying to act like, he wasn't calling me that. He was just saying it was, the notion of it was. But in a few situations, he was definitely telling me that I needed mental help. And so the conversation is going on, and he tries to be all, but I wish you the best. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't wish me anything. You didn't come on here to sit there and be all nice and sweet. You came on here to actually try and make me feel inferior. And I'm not going to feel inferior to you. And then moments in also tried to shame and guilt me for my reactions. And it was like, no, I have no shame nor guilt for what I'm saying. And I know that I have a choice in what I'm saying. And I'm choosing to stand up to you. I'm not going, and my arguments were just as clear and stated as his were, which I personally don't believe he was expecting that. He saw my comment and thought, oh, this girl is all love and light and all, ditzy and, has all these beliefs and isn't grounded in her actual thoughts and being able to present herself in a logical and concise way. He thought wrong. So, in the comments, whenever he called me Delulu, I was like, well, then that's exactly why you're not going to be successful. Because in life, if you want to be successful, you have to have a bit of delusion. I mean, you have to have a deep belief in yourself that you're going to get where you want to be. So, if you get a bit of that delusion from believing in mythical creatures, then so be it. But you have to be able to believe in something delusional. You have to have delusional beliefs, but also still be grounded. So, more or less, the conversation keeps going, and I triggered something, because whenever I said that about him, and, you won't be successful, he was like, you don't know me, you don't know who I am, and you don't know what I've done. And it's like, well, same goes to you, buddy, because you're coming on here trying to tell me who I am and what my mental state is, and you don't know me. So you need to start looking at yourself. Don't come on here and project your insecurities and project your beliefs onto me, because I don't have to accept them. It doesn't matter. You can believe what you want to believe, and I can believe what I want to believe. Doesn't mean that we have to sit there and try and convince or tear someone down for their beliefs. It's okay to have opposing views and still meet in the middle. It is okay to have opposing views and to have a debated argument. That's not going to hurt each other's feelings. It's okay for that. You can have friendships based off of having separate beliefs. It's completely possible. But you have to be able to not be hurt by it. And so, with this whole thing, the only thing that I was genuinely triggered, and I will admit that I was triggered in a way in some of the things that he was saying, just in the context of someone trying to force their beliefs onto me and tell me that what I think and feel is wrong. That falls under the lines of how some people are when it comes to religions and political views and stuff like that. So I personally don't like when people do that, because I try my best not to do that. I will, and sometimes I can be a little bit more, like my son has pointed out, that I will state things as facts, and I need to be a little bit more fluid with it's just my belief. This is what I believe in, instead of this is fact. This is So I get that. I'm working on that one. But it was one of those things that people go, that was triggering whenever people try to shove it down your throat that what you think and feel is wrong. And also the crazy part, because if you're constantly telling me that I'm mentally ill and that I'm crazy, there is a very deep underlying part of that, to where I was gaslit and led to believe that I was mentally ill by my family and by my ex-husband. My ex-husband, that was his go-to. Wait a minute. That was his go-to line whenever we would get into fights and everything like that. He would call me crazy, and he knew that it was a trigger, and he would use that against me in a way to be able to trigger reaction out of me, so that I would, fly off the deep end, more or less. But again, I realize that it's not it was still there a little bit, but now I don't care if you think I'm crazy. What I believe and what I think and I know is what I know. Like, you telling me I'm crazy isn't going to change that. And I'm not going to get upset because you think I'm crazy. All the best people are crazy. Just like the Melanie Martinez song, Mad Hatter. All the best people are crazy. So, really and truly, crazy is subjective to every single person. You can say that is crazy, or that person's crazy, or she went crazy. Your definition is different from another person's definition. And we could use the Webster definition, but everybody's going to still have a different view of what it means. So, also, the whole conversation just kept going on, and it was like, oh no, I wasn't triggered. I was surprised by, like, people in this day and age that believe in that kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, you're all over YouTube, so spare me the whole I was surprised that. And there are plenty of people out there that believe all of this, so you're just surprised by my one comment? No, don't give me that. And then on top of that, adding in like, oh well, here in the UK, we don't believe in that stuff because of like ChatGPT generated version of this is where they come from, and they were used as a means of controlling your kids because, don't go out into the woods and all that other BS that, someone spouts. And I'm like, okay, but that's you. You believe that. And so if you don't believe in any of this stuff, then why in the hell are you on this page that is talking about mermaids? Why are you watching a video about mermaids if you don't believe? Because there is a small piece of you that still wants to believe, that wants that proof. So you're going to come out here and check it out. And then you're going to come onto my comment and you're going to try and make me feel less than for my comment that I decided to post because it triggered some kind of like, I don't know, it triggered some uncontrollable emotion in you to where you felt the need to get on here and play, devil's advocate with me. And on that note, talking about my mental health, I have survived things that you would have ended your life years ago. You would have. You would never have survived the shit that I have had to pull my happy ass out of. And you're going to come on here and tell me how my mental state is, because I already know where my mental state is at. Because I have worked so hard to get to where I'm at. And because of that, you're going to come on here and tell me what I have to believe in and what I shouldn't believe in, and that I am wrong for my beliefs. Those beliefs, believe it or not, come from my inner child. And my inner child needed something to be able to stay happy and to be able to stay mentally stable while struggling through all of that pain and suffering and abuse and all of that stuff. I needed something to keep me mentally sane from going under. And so if that is what keeps my inner child happy and makes me see a brighter future, then who are you to come on here and tell me to kill that part of me? No, because even that belief in something like that is where it keeps my inner child happy, and that inner child being happy is where magic and joy comes from. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you and tell me how I should be and what I should think and feel. So, you have your beliefs, I have mine. You stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. If you're going to come in here and try and be all honest with me, I will be honest right back, okay? So, all in all, it ended with my final comment, pretty much saying that about the inner child and magic and joy and all of that stuff and being interconnected and, all of that. And so, my point was this on all of it. That was a beautiful moment and a healing moment for me in multiple different ways. It was a moment where I could go in and I could practice my my verbal debating, you know, and yeah, there are some things that I could work on and some things that, you know, I did really good on. Definitely learning experience, because you gotta get the practice, and this right here was practice. They say, oh, don't engage with the trolls and all of that stuff. Well, sometimes those trolls need to be put in their place. Let's be real. Sometimes people just need to be verbally boxed, okay? Because if you turn the other cheek all the time, nothing's gonna get fixed, you know? So this was also one of those experiences where I got to grow in being able to stand up and speak up for a belief that I have, even though the belief is in mermaids, you know, which now I got to go find that person and tell them that I apparently died on a hill over mermaids. I died on a hill for mermaids. I mean, what a great cause, you know. But it's also a chance for you to become a stronger person, because if you were ever a submissive person and you never were able to fight back, then you tend to swing way too far over to one side and you become more aggressive. But it's finding out, you have to like battle back and forth between being able to find that middle ground of where you can be assertive and you can speak how you feel and think and everything fluently without the emotions. You have to be logic. And so, like, yeah, I had some emotions in there to start with, but it eventually evened out to where I could logically just speak and talk and discuss my argument without having that, like, trigger. But it also helped me learn where a few little triggers were at and that I could learn to heal them and I could reframe them in the moment and work them through, which is what I did. But now it's like, it's just that little piece of me that grew a little bit more. Like, I grew an inch. Not literally, because I'm not getting any taller than 5'1.5". So, but yeah, I gotta get into work because it's already late, and I am trying to see what time it is. So, yep, I'm late. So, wanted to say all of this and share it with you. So much love, and stay beautiful and stay blessed, because you are both beautiful and you are blessed, and I love you, and bye.